Hey YouTube, Don here. We've had a ton of announcements recently for Season 1 and I haven't covered a lot of it because I've been too busy making other content. But I was going to cover it anyway, and in fact they've just dropped a brand new trailer on YouTube as well as some more dev notes on their own website. So I wanted to quickly add those into what I've already got. There's a lot to unpack and I'm not going to go through it all. I'm not going to show you the whole trailer. It'll be playing probably in the background as I talk, but I'm not going to go through it, me watching it and reacting to it. But there are a few key points I really want to touch on. And spoiler alert, I don't think I actually like the majority of what's being shown to us on Season 1. And honestly, a lot of that is because it's seasonal content. I've played tons of Diablo and Path of Exile, I'm very used to seasons, and I think they're fine for certain games. I just don't think for this type of game, seasonal and temporary content is the way to go. But enough of that, let's get into the video. It's very easy to get caught up in negativity. A lot of what I say might come across quite negative, but let's all remember we play this game because we love it. We enjoy the game, we want to see it improve, really like the game. I just want to get that out there. Let's start with the positives. So first off, Void Shards have had tons of quality of life changes, and I think all of that is actually coming the August 29th, I think they've said. The dates, we'll get into that because actually they've just changed. When you're out farming Void Shards now on hard mode, every run you do will actually drop enough shards that you can go and use the reactor. Whereas before it was maybe you got 6 per run and you needed 30. Now, however much it uses to crack open an amorphous material is how much you get per run. That is much better. And apparently they are now making sure that when you're on one sort of battlefield, all the void shards that have been dropped and used all match, which I would have thought was the case, so it's interesting to me that that apparently wasn't the case. The other cool thing is void reactors will not consume shards now until you use the reconstruction device. So until you actually go and crack that amorphous material, it's not going to consume your shards. Which is really cool because there's quite a few of these bosses that drop materials that you can obviously get elsewhere. But now that you can just farm these bosses instead to get these materials dropped, that's actually a really big help. Plus it means you can help your friends without having to worry about all your shards being consumed. Yeah, I like this change. However, we are still lacking a really sort of good reason to party up and do these things together with friends or as a team. What we really need is a system like Warframes where everybody gets their own unique drop and you can just pick, do you want your drop, do you want your friend's drop, do you want the other person's drop? That is a much better system and that's what we need. The other things that are coming is Haley and some of her skins, but not her translated mods. Those are coming later, like a lot later. It was going to be October the 30th, but it's not October the 30th anymore. It is sooner than that, but that is something else that we will touch at the end. I thought originally this was a mistake. I thought maybe it's a communication error, but the fact that they have posted more news about this and not stated that actually no, Haley's Transcendent mods are going to release with her, I don't think it's a mistake. You're still going to be waiting about a month and a half to actually get hold of her mods. There's obviously going to be brand new seasonal content. We're getting something called Invasion Reinforcements as well as Invasion Dungeons, and I'm going to dive into all the seasonal stuff later. We're also getting a brand new seasonal battle pass, which is going to include a brand new legendary or ultimate weapon. Don't forget though, you do need 5 copies to perfect ultimate weapons. And as we saw with Sigvor's launcher or something like that, I can't remember what it's called because I've never used it. You got 4 copies for free. 1 copy you had to pay for. So if you want to get a perfect one of these weapons, it is almost certainly going to be behind a paywall. You are going to have to buy the battle pass. They have said in previous statements that this battle pass is going to be better. The current battle pass we have, if you pay for it, you do not get enough currency to buy the next battle pass, which when battle passes first released was the whole point. You could earn your money essentially back, and you wouldn't have to buy another one if you continued to complete these battle passes. We've only currently had one, and that so far has not been the case. We're also seeing a slight rework to how hard missions work. Now we're going to be offered set options for a 0% kill score, 125% kill score, and a 250% kill score. And this is honestly a much better system. It's going to make farming for your amorphous materials in these places so much easier. This is a great change. Another great change is what they are doing to sockets. So now we're actually going to be able to resocket the same socket as many times as we want. And let's say you started by turning it to an R type and then a C type. Well, now at any point you can swap between the C and the R type, which is a great change. I like that a lot. It does still mean you're going to have to do a lot of catalysting. The good news is crystal catalysts are really quite easy to farm. It's just going to be really time consuming to keep having to leveling up your weapon or your descendant. And then lastly, I want to talk about Ultimate Freyna, who was coming October 30th. That has been slightly changed. she's coming with her own storyline, which I think is a really, really cool thing. And graphically, what we've been shown is stunning. And the good news is they are going to release her with her Transcendent mods. And I personally am looking forward to hearing about how Descendants transform into these Ultimate Descendants. I think you can inspect people like Bunny, and it does give you a little bit of lore behind her and lots of stuff if you read through it. But I think somewhere it is actually mentioned that the transformation was so hard on Bunny that it changed her hair to white. So that's why Ultimate Bunny's hair is white. But, there is a but. The story in the game, let's be honest, it's not very good. It's extremely lackluster. It's very generic. I'll be completely honest, I was wondering if perhaps it's just written by AI. And then when actually I watched this most recent trailer they put out for Season 1, the voiceover is by an AI voice, so obviously Nexon are at least using AI for certain things. And some of the characters in game I did wonder, are these voices real? I think it's Sekna or Seneca or something like that. His voice, but they've put so many effects on, it's hard to tell. I really think his voice is not very good. I just want to also put out there, you see everyone is on the fence about AI. I'm not really too bothered by AI because some of the stuff that I do for YouTube, I get AI to give me a hand with. For example, trying to find the right tags on videos. I've always been rubbish at that. So I usually get AI to kind of give me some of that stuff. However, I do think for larger companies, you shouldn't rely on AI pretty much at all, when talent out there exists to sort of fill these roles. So with that, let's transition to talk about the not so good. First up, the game, in my opinion, lacks content. There's not a ton to do. There's a lot of grinding, a lot of grinding. And I don't mind that. I am a huge MMO player. I quite like grinding. I'm completely fine with that. But a lot of the grinding is for the same stuff, XP, gold, and to an extent Kuiper. Though at the moment, gold is so much harder to get than Kuiper. But the run for either of these is the same for me. Currently I'm doing the Echo Swamp run. Where this becomes a problem is the fact that Bunny is just hands down the best character to do this with. So when you want to level up someone who's not Bunny, it all of a sudden becomes quite difficult. There is a lot of love for Bunny, and personally I do love Bunny. I absolutely do not want to see any nerfs or changes. I just want other people to be brought up to be able to do some of the stuff that she can do. Or at least have an easy way for everybody to level the characters up. So it does feel like there's quite a bit of favoritism towards Bunny. And speaking of that, the new seasonal dungeons kind of amplify that, because there's a timed modifier, I think it says. Meaning I think the faster you complete it, the better your score, if I've understood that right. There's a new dungeon difficulty called these Invasion Dungeons. They're solo only, which I think is a bit of a mistake. Nexon, you really should be encouraging more group play, not less. We need more reasons to play with each other. Like I said earlier, we need Warframe's ability to pick one of our friends' rewards when we're breaking amorphous materials together. We just need a lot more ways to play with each other, not reasons to not play with each other. And while all these quality of life changes they've promised are, in my opinion, fantastic, they're really, really good, the content itself being drip fed over 2 to 3 months is kind of ridiculous. I have to be honest, the content that they've announced and we've seen, it doesn't look like it would take 3 months to develop. And then there's Hayley. Her kit looks cool. As someone who was planning to main Enzo, she's got a little shoulder turret, which honestly looks better than Enzo's little drone. Hayley has a stealth buff. She gives herself increased critical strike on firearms and skills, I believe. But for some reason she reduces her movement speed to do that. I don't understand. So many other characters have buffs, so it's not like buffs are a brand new thing, so why is she reducing her own movement speed? But her huge ultimate, it looks pretty big, it looks pretty cool, it looks like it hits really, really hard. And again, Hayley releases in less than a week from now. But her Transcendent mods don't release till October. Also, we're not going to get the NPC trader that we're all waiting for. Let's talk about seasonal content, and in my opinion, it's a bad idea. We're going to be getting borrowed power for the season, and for the season only. And unsurprisingly, because most games do this, they're not taking Path of Exile's approach. This seasonal content is staying for the season and then it's gone. But what we really need in this game is forever bits of content. Look at Warframe. It has absolutely incredible quests, and completing these quests unlocks a brand new area of the game. If you haven't experienced Warframe's quests, put it on your bucket list. I'm not joking, they are that good. This is coming from an MMO player. I do not care about quests, but Warframes are that good. Warframe has something called Arcwing missions. This gives you access to some wings, you can fly around. The general gameplay loop is basically the same, but unlocking this gives you access to these wings in their big open areas. There's also railjack missions, which lets you control a massive sort of spaceship. And you control it the same way you'd sort of control something in a game like Sea of Thieves. And honestly, that's just scratching the surface. But I don't want to spoil the rest. Believe me, it's an actual once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I wish I could see it all again for the first time. Lastly, let's talk about this brand new update schedule they've just put out. The third content drop is no longer coming out on October the 30th. It's now coming out October the 10th. They've now decided they're going to release the season in 2 updates. The first is still coming out August the 29th. It's still got Haley, still got the Invasion Dungeon, Inversion Reinforcements, and the new Battle Pass. The second update is not coming September the 26th. This is the new Intercept Battle Deathstalker, the new Ultimate Weapon Frostwalker. All of this is actually now coming with the third update. The way they've worded it is the third update is now being merged with the second update and it's coming out here. No, what's happening is you've actually merged the second update with the third update. You're pushing the new Void Battle out much later. It's now coming October the 10th. This is going to include all of the original September 2nd release and the third release with Ultimate Freyna and Freyna's story, Freyna's mods, Haley's mods, the ETA 0, which is the new little shop they're adding. So like I said, I don't like this drip feeding content. I don't think there's enough content in the game as it is. I also don't like the idea of seasonal content, because if you're not careful, next one will get glued to that idea. And all we'll be seeing is new seasons. This season's over. You've got a 3 months to 6 months to 9 months, 12 months, whatever, of the content we have right now. And then you get another season where you get your borrowed power, you get a little gimmick, all that sort of stuff. But ultimately, you're not getting... unless there's something I missed, unless, there is new quest lines, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I suppose Haley stuff has to be in the game permanently after it somehow, as well as Ultimate Freyna. Unless it's purchase only, but I doubt that. I just think we need more permanent content, is what I'm saying. And I'm worried they're going to get stuck into a season idea, and all we're going to get is seasons. So for me, this is a really concerning direction that the game's going in. I would rather see more permanent stuff being added. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys have to think, as well as liking, commenting, subscribing. See ya.